Hey everyone, Wayne Fox back with another video. Been a while. It's, to say the least, it's been a weird year I'm sure for everyone out there as well. I hope everybody's doing well and managing through this weird year we've got going on. My personal life has been okay, but I've been really careful. I'm old enough now that I'm kind of in that high risk category. So I've become a little bit of a recluse. I've just had a really hard time, not really coming up with ideas, but being motivated to really try to present those ideas in an effective video. And can't explain it. You'd think that, it's kind of one of those weird things. I do enjoy making videos, and obviously I do, because I certainly don't do it to make money. There's not, at my level on YouTube, it's just something, kind of a self-learning experience more than anything. But this is a video I didn't want to skip. And the reason is I received this box today, and rather than tear into it, I thought I would open it up on a video and talk about why I bought this. Now, this isn't to get you to buy one of these. Certainly, if you want to, when we're done, that's fine. I don't have any way to sell it to you. I can just tell you where I got it. And the whole idea is to talk about why I bought it and how this type of thing has kind of affected me. And I would assume a lot of people have the same thing. In 2005, I sold my portrait photography company. My partner and I, we decided that, it really had grown into something way bigger than we ever anticipated. And it really wasn't as much, it was really a lot of work. And we just kind of were both photographers, and he's actually an outstanding painter, paints beautiful work. And so he really kind of wanted to kind of retire. And I thought, that doesn't sound like a bad plan. And so when I retired back then, I thought, I want to try to become a better landscape photographer. Now, understand that as a professional portrait photographer since the 70s, I had taken landscape stuff all the time. I'd even sold some landscape stuff. Let's be honest, for my generation, all the 70s and 80s, we were the ones that could afford the big cameras with the great big negatives and could actually make great big prints that looked really, really good. And there were some landscape photographers back then, no doubt, that did a lot of work and used things. In fact, this particular person here, I believe, was shot 4x5 film back then. But I found out when I decided that I wanted to do this full time, and not really as a career, but just as I wanted to excel at shooting it. I wanted to make sure my work was something that was really cool, that I really enjoyed looking at, that hopefully other people enjoyed looking at. As I started looking at it and learning it, I realized, wow, I really don't know much about it. I'd taken a few nice things over the years, but boy, there's a lot more to it than I thought. And so the first thing that I did, and I assume most people do this, is I began to look at work from other photographers to see what they did, to see what their eyes saw, to see how they captured their vision. And this particular photographer was one that caught my eye very early on, and I've admired his work ever since. In fact, this year I was hoping to do a one-on-one workshop with him. He offers those. And this is my plan this year, to make a trip to California and spend the day with him, and then spend the day with another photographer near him whose work I also have admired since for the last 15 years. And of course, the COVID-19 kind of put dampers on that. I still hope to be able to do that. Anyway, let's get this thing open. Let me show you what it is and talk about why I bought it. So I have my trusty Swiss Army knife, which I found when I moved. And I thought, well, it'd be, let's put it to work here. So let's just see. I'm not sure how this thing opens up. Okay. I think that's it. Now, I don't have a camera overhead right now. And when I get this open, I'm going to reset up my camera so it focuses on what we're opening here. But hopefully I can give you the experience of this. Well packaged, bubble wrap, double boxed. So this is a book called Light on the Landscape by William Neill. As I said, I've admired him for a long time now. And he's got a couple of other books. And I actually own several photo books by several other photographers as well. And one of the things I do is I go to their websites, I follow their work. I started doing this back then. And this particular book, I think, will represent a lot of his finer work. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to switch the camera so we get a nice overhead of the book, and I'll kind of go through a few things. And the thing that's interesting is it says it's photographs and lessons from a life in photography. So I think it's going to be a little bit more than just some really awesome photography. I think it's from a person who's been doing it, landscape photography for, 3 or 4 decades. I'm not sure how old William is, but I know he's closer to my age than he might even be older than me. I don't know. But he's been doing this a really long time. So I'm really interested in not just the photographs, but his discussion of his life and what he's learned and what motivates him. So let me get the camera switched around, and then we'll take a look at the book. So I've tried to set my white balance and density so that what you see on the screen is at least a close representation of the book. One thing to mention, this is a collector's edition, which is a hardcover. And when you buy a collector's edition, you get a signature, and you also get a print or multiple prints if you would like. The softcover edition can be purchased on Amazon, and you can even buy it as a Kindle. Now, understand the reason you might want to do that is because this is not a coffee table book. If I go to the table of contents here, you'll see that this is basically a collection of the essays that he has written over the last couple of decades. I assume a lot of them were an outdoor photographer. He's also written things for other publications as well. And so it's fairly extensive. So this is a book that you buy to read, looking for ideas, inspiration. Some are quite philosophical, talk about his personal feelings and what's motivated him over the years. Some are a little bit more technical. He claims in the book that he's not as technical as Ansel Adams, who he worked under, I believe, for a while, or he at least knew Ansel. But he also acknowledges the importance of the technical. And so it's quite a combination of essays. What I've done is I've just tabbed a few here to give you an idea of some of the subjects. Excuse all the yellow tabs here. So, let's start at the beginning. So if you look at basically how it breaks down, you'll have a nice photograph and then an essay, and then I assume the essay he's written and is published at some point. This talks, some of them are quite personal and quite short. Others are a little bit more involved. My top reasons for photographic success, and this one here you can see is a little bit more involved. I've read several of them so far. Where is the Light? Lighting Basics. I've read several of them so far, and I have enjoyed them all. Now, I've never subscribed to Outdoor Photographer, nor have I ever looked at that. I guess I probably should, because if this is representative of some of the stuff they published, then it's very good. I didn't realize he was a contributor there until I bought the book. So what I've done is I've tabbed a few what I think are the more interesting chapters. Here he talks about becoming a student of the light, and there are several essays talking about light, its importance. And of course, in all aspects of photography, and as a portrait photographer, I learned very early on how critical light was and how the critical good lighting could enhance a portrait dramatically. And I learned that as I got more and more into landscape. I learned to find the light and see it better. And he talks a lot about that in the book. This one talks about finding his personal vision. I'm not sure I've ever done that. I just take photographs of things that interest me. And, maybe this is something I should read a little bit more. So anyway, this book is designed to be read. I don't know that you need to read it from front to back. You could simply go to the table of contents and find subjects that interest you. Here, releasing the shutter is only the beginning. Some interesting thoughts, considering where to place the horizon line. So this one's a little bit more technical, talking about compositional theory. mantra for making clean, clear photographs. And here he's talking about whispers in the fog, which is one of my favorite things to shoot in is fog. I love the mood you get. And he's got a couple of nice images here taken in the fog. Solving focus problems in the field. And here we have a couple of interesting images. And I assume this one's a little more technical. I have not read this article yet. But, we certainly come across scenes like this where it's difficult to get everything sharp. Just a few more quickly. What the road passes by. Here he talks about looking for things other than an iconic vantage point. I personally believe that iconic vantage points are wonderful to shoot. We all want to place our own personal interpretation on an iconic location, but we also need to look for nice and wonderful compositions wherever we are. This is a technique that he's done entire books about, these artistic in-camera blurs. He calls them impressions of light, and they're pretty neat. I actually have the book where he has these. I have the digital version of this book where it's impressions of light, which I've really enjoyed looking at. I've never actually been very successful at this. I guess I'll admit I haven't tried very hard. I think they're really appealing and interesting. Getting out of a rut, which is something we all find ourselves in once in a while. And just a few more. This is something that I used to do pretty well. I would pick my top 10 each year. I don't shoot as much, so it's a little more difficult now. And I guess that lesson I need to learn from there is I need to go shoot a little bit more. When you have your camera with you, good luck tends to happen. And that's the old mantra that everybody says, the best camera is the one you have with you. And I tend to take a little camera with me a lot of the time, even just a little 20 megapixel RX100, just in case I come a scene similar to this. At least I can make a decent 11 by 14 or 16 by 20 from that. A little better than an iPhone camera. And then one more, long-term artistic goals as far as processing. So that's just a sample of 10 or 15 of the different essays in here. I don't know how many there are total, but I'm guessing there's around 40 or more essays. And then last thing, if you go to the end of the book, which I thought was interesting, is he basically has all of the photographs in the book, and he tells you the technical background, what camera used. Several of these are actually from 4x5 film. And of course, you can go back and see look at the page number and go back and see a larger version of the image. And so I thought this was pretty interesting. I actually went through this right away and found several that I liked and went and kind of looked them up. Okay, well, that does it. I hope you enjoyed that. It's certainly a really cool book. I look forward to getting into it in more detail. If you're interested in getting a copy, I'll put a link to where you can buy one down in the description box. It's more of the point of why I buy books like this and how I've got several others. In fact, I'm probably going to do 2 or 3 other videos about the books that I bought, why I bought them, why that particular photographer inspires me. And it's pretty diverse. I mean, I've got one photographer who really never made a career from his work, but his work is incredibly awesome. And his book is just totally amazing. And another one who basically at the same time I started watching or following William Neill, I also stumbled onto his work and was just floored by how great I thought it was. And he's definitely affected me. So I might do a couple more videos like this. We'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. If you want to catch any of my other videos, make sure you subscribe to the channel down there and hit that little bell so that you get a notification when I do put out a new video. Maybe now that I've kind of broke the ice and got off my duff and made a video, maybe I'll quit watching as much YouTube and doing those other things in the evening when I get back from my daily activities and start making a few more videos. I've got about 30 of them scripted out. You'd think I'd try to get them done. Anyway, hey, thanks for watching. See ya.